Have you ever stared at your investment account and thought, is this even moving? You add money every month, you stay disciplined, you follow all the advice, and yet your progress feels invisible. The number creeps up 10,000, 20, maybe 30, but a million still feels light years away. Here's the twist. Once you reach $100,000, you're much closer to 1 million than you think. Not emotionally, not theoretically, but mathematically. I'm Sari, and I spend a lot of time thinking about money, growth, and why most people never escape the paycheck to paycheck cycle. If you want to understand the real mechanics of building wealth, not the hype, make sure to hit subscribe. Most people believe wealth grows in a straight line. They think if you save 10,000, you're 10,000 closer to being rich. Simple math, right? That's exactly why most people quit. The early years feel painfully slow. You put in effort, discipline, and sacrifice, but your results seem invisible. Wealth doesn't grow in a straight line. It compounds. When you invest properly, your money earns returns, and then those returns begin to earn returns. It's not glamorous. It's not a trick. It's about time, consistency, and patience. The longer you stay invested, the faster the curve bends in your favor. Let's make it real. If you invest $100 per week, that's about $400 per month. It's the equivalent of a few dinners out, a handful of subscriptions, or impulse buys redirected toward your future. Assume a conservative 8% average return. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. It takes about 12 years of steady investing to reach your first $100,000. During that time, you're doing most of the work. Your contributions outweigh your returns. It feels slow, repetitive, and sometimes pointless. But if you stay the course, something powerful happens next. The next 100,000 arrives in about 6 years, half the time. Same effort, same strategy, different outcome, because now your money is doing the heavy lifting. Compounding has taken over. At 200,000, you're effectively halfway to millionaire territory. Not in a straight line, but in momentum. The boulder you've been pushing uphill for a decade is finally cresting, and gravity is now on your side. Think about that. For years, you've been pushing, and now the hill starts pushing back. Stick with that $100 per week plan, and around year 35 or 36, you'll cross 1 million. Here's the wild part. More than 80% of that million comes from growth, not deposits. Your portfolio's yearly gains can rival a full-time income without you lifting a finger. That's when your money stops asking for permission and starts taking initiative. Many people ask, what about inflation? The truth is, an 8% return is already conservative compared to long-term market averages. What matters most isn't chasing higher returns. It's staying consistent long enough for the math to work in your favor. What about market crashes? They happen and they're not the enemy. If you're investing regularly, downturns are opportunities. Your money buys more shares at lower prices. When the market rebounds, those extra shares multiply your gains. And for those who say, I don't have $100 a week, most people think they don't until they track their spending. Meal planning, cooking at home, canceling unused subscriptions, or buying a reliable used car instead of a new one can free up $70 to $100 a week. You're not giving up comfort. You're buying freedom. Now let's talk about something most investors never consider: the psychology of patience. Compounding doesn't just require money, it requires emotional endurance. In the early years, investing feels unrewarding because there's no visible proof that it's working. You're depositing, but nothing changes dramatically. This is where people quit, not because the system fails, but because they can't sit still long enough for it to work. The wealthy understand this. They've trained themselves to feel satisfaction not from spending, but from consistency. Their reward isn't the car, it's watching the numbers grow quietly over time. That's delayed gratification in action, and it's one of the most profitable skills you can ever learn. At 100,000, your entire perspective shifts. Before this point, you're the engine. You push, you grind, you contribute. After this point, your money starts helping. Every month, your portfolio produces more in returns than you used to save manually. Let's say your 100,000 earns 8% annually. That's $8,000 a year, about $660 per month, without any extra work. That's a car payment. It's a vacation fund. It's breathing room. And that's just the beginning. Once you cross this line, you start thinking differently. You care less about small savings and more about big opportunities. You stop chasing discounts and start chasing ownership. You realize your biggest wealth builder isn't income, it's time. This is also when financial anxiety begins to fade. When you have a six-figure foundation, you stop feeling fragile. You stop panicking over emergencies, job changes, or recessions. You've built something that can withstand turbulence. And something else happens. You stop trying to look rich. When your investments quietly grow in the background, your need for validation starts to disappear. You no longer need to prove success, you can feel it. A strong portfolio doesn't just change your finances, it changes your identity. You start thinking in decades, not days. You start protecting your wealth instead of proving it. You understand that every flashy purchase delays your freedom, and that realization keeps you grounded. Here's another overlooked truth. Wealth doesn't just compound financially, it compounds mentally. Discipline leads to confidence. Confidence leads to better decisions. Better decisions lead to more opportunities. And those opportunities multiply just like your investments. This is why 100,000 is such a powerful milestone. It's not just a number. It's proof that you can do something most people only dream about. Commit long enough for time to reward you. Let's zoom out. If you stay consistent with that $100 weekly investment, the difference between quitting at 10 years versus staying for 30 is staggering. After 10 years, you'd have around $70,000. After 35, you'd have over 1 million. Same strategy, different patience. That's the invisible price of wealth, waiting long enough to collect it. At this stage, you start thinking strategically. You might begin diversifying, adding index funds, maybe a side business or rental property. You start optimizing taxes and protecting assets. You go from building wealth to managing it. But here's the key. Don't let comfort turn into complacency. Many people hit 100,000 and think they made it. They relax, upgrade their lifestyle, and slow their momentum. But that's the most dangerous time to coast because compounding is just getting started. The habits that got you here are the same ones that will take you 10 times further. Save automatically. Invest regularly. Ignore the noise. Let your system work quietly in the background while you focus on living your life. And when you catch yourself feeling impatient, remember this. Compounding feels slow until it feels fast. It's like watching ice melt. Nothing happens for ages and then suddenly it's water. One day, you'll check your portfolio and realize your growth in a single year is larger than your total savings from a decade ago. That's when you'll understand what wealth really means. It's not about having $1 million in the bank. It's about building a system that works while you sleep. It's about time doing the heavy lifting for you quietly, predictably, and relentlessly. Wealth doesn't reward the smartest. It rewards the most consistent. Start now. Keep going when it's boring. And let time and compounding do what they always do for the disciplined. If this clarified your path, hit subscribe, and let's build the kind of wealth that lets you choose your life on purpose.